Hello students, welcome to the online session of database management system. In today's session, we are going to study about keys. So learning objectives of today's session are, after studying this session, students will be able to define what is meant by key, and students will be able to describe the importance of each of the keys in relational database model. Okay, so first we'll see what are keys in DBMS. So keys are nothing. These keys are the important concept, or we can say important part of relational database management system. So keys are what? They are nothing but the attribute or the set of attributes that are used to identify tuples in a table. Okay, as we know, in relational model we store data in terms of tables. So tables are what? They are nothing but the set of rows and columns. So whenever we want to access data from table, or whenever we want to access data from the database, we need some unique identifier, or we need some attribute so that we can access data from the table easily. So keys are what? Keys are those attributes by using which we can access data from the tables. Okay, so keys are simply the attributes in a table. So these keys are nothing but the unique identifier. Now what is meant by unique identifier? It means that by using that key attribute, or by using that attribute name, we can fetch exact data from the table. We can retrieve exact data from the table. That's why they are called as unique identifier. Then these keys are not only used to fetch data from the table, but they are also used to establish relationship between different tables. So this is all about keys in a database. They are simply attribute of a table that are used to fetch data, that are used to retrieve data from the table or from the database. Okay, now let's take one example. This is a example of employee table. Here I have four attribute: employee name, department, salary and designation. This table is used to store data about the employees working in different departments on different designation in any company. Okay, now here see, if I write query select star from employee, okay, then it will give me the entire table. Okay, means select star from employee, this query is used to display all attributes and all data from the table, from the database, without using any condition. Okay, now suppose I want to display employee name and salary from the table, then I can simply write select e name salary from employee. Okay, then it will give me the value for employee name and salary, these two attribute. Okay, now here whenever you want to display any attribute or any column from the table, see, e name, department, salary, designation, these all are what? These all are the attributes of table. Okay, now whenever you want to display value for any attribute, suppose you want to display e name, if you want to display department or salary or designation, then you can directly use that attribute name in your query. As I written here, select e name salary from employee, it will display values for column e name and value for column salary. Similarly, if you want to display values of department column, then you can simply write select department from employee. Okay, means here these attributes name are used as a unique identifier for that column. Okay, these are the captions, these are the names which are given to all the attributes. So by using these captions, by using this name, you can easily access attribute, you can easily access values for any of the attributes in your table. Now consider, what if you want to access any row? Now row is what? Row is nothing but a set of values for all the attribute in a table. It is also called as a tuple, okay, in relational database model. Suppose I want to access data for employee John. So here I can simply write query like select salary from employee where e name equals to John. Okay, I want to access salary of employee John. But if you look at the table, in our table we have two employees with name John. Okay, so when you execute this query, select salary from employee where ename equals to John, it will give you 2 rows. Okay, but I want to display salary for that John who is working on production department. But here we have 2 rows for employee John. One is working in production department and second is working in marketing department. Okay, so when you write this query, select salary from employee where ename equals to John, then it will give you 2 rows. One is your required row, that is a employee with name John who is working in production department, but it will give you one additional row for employee John who is working in marketing department. Okay, so by using John you cannot identify the exact person. Similarly, if I write query update employee set salary equals to salary plus 1000 where ename equals to Jerry. Now what is the meaning of this query? The meaning is that I want to increase the salary of employee whose name is Jerry by 1000. Okay, but I want to increase salary of Jerry who is working in account department. Okay, now here if you look at the table, we again have 2 entries for Jerry name. One employee Jerry who is working in production department and another employee whose name is also Jerry but he is working in account department. Now I want to increase the salary of that Jerry who is working in account department. But if I execute this query, update employee set salary equals to salary plus 1000 where rename equals to Jerry, then it will unnecessarily increase the salaries of all employees with name Jerry. Okay, but we want to increase salary for only that Jerry who is working in account department. So if you execute this query with name Jerry, then there will be a error, there will be a inconsistency in your table. Means here again by using name we cannot identify exact person. Similarly, if you write query like delete from employee where designation equals to team leader. Okay, now see in our table we have 3 employees who are working as a team leader. So Jerry is there who is a team leader in production department. Johnson is there who is a team leader in finance department, and Jack is working as a team leader in production department. Now suppose I want to delete row from employee Jack. Okay, so if I write delete from employee where ename equals to Jack, okay, then it will delete all rows where ename is Jack. So I cannot use Jack as a condition, okay, to check to delete the row. Similarly, here Jack is working in production department. So if I write query delete from employee where department equals to production, then it will delete all the rows for production department. Similarly, like here, if I write designation as a condition operator, like delete from employee where designation equals to team leader, then it will delete all rows where designation equals to team leader. Means unnecessary your data will get deleted from the table. Okay, so this is the problem when we don't have any caption or when we don't have any unique identifier for the rows. So now what is the solution for this? The solution is we can add any new attribute which can act as a unique identifier for the rows. So here, what if we add employee ID? Now employee ID is what? It is an integer type of attribute and it is used to describe ID of each of the employee. Now look at the table. Now here we have added new attribute which is a employee ID attribute. If you carefully look at this table, then you will come to know that all the employees are having unique employee ID. Okay, it is similar to your roll number or enrollment number. All the students in one class are having a unique enrollment number by using which students can be identified. Okay, similarly here when we add any employee ID attribute or any attribute which is a unique identifier, then by using that unique identifier we can easily access rows. Okay, those unique identifiers can act as a caption to the row. They can act as a name or index to that particular row. Okay, so here I have added one unique attribute, that is employee ID. Now let's see how this employee ID can be used to access rows uniquely. See, now here previously I told you that I want to access row for employee whose name is John but who is working in production department. So here we have two employees with name John. One is working in production department and one is working in marketing department. So I want John who is working in production department. So now look at the table. John is working in production department and his employee ID is 1. So I can simply write select salary from employee where employee ID equals to 1. Now employee ID 1 has name John. Employee ID 4 is also having name John. But here we have explicitly mentioned that select salary from employee where employee ID equals to 1. So it will give me the row for that employee ID only whose employee ID is 1. Okay, so here I will get the exact row. Similarly, now I want to increase the salary of Jerry. Okay, take our previous example. I want to increase the salary of Jerry employee by 1000 who is working in account department. Okay, now here we have two employees with name Jerry. One has employee ID 3 and another has employee ID 7. Now Jerry with employee ID 3 is working in production department and Jerry with employee ID 7 is working in account department. So instead of using Jerry as a condition operator or as a condition in a query, we can use employee ID as a condition. So if I write query like this, update employee set salary equals to salary plus 1000 where employee ID equals to 7, then it will update the exact row. It will not update any other row because there is a exact condition given where employee ID is equal to 7 and all the employee IDs are different. Okay, so employee ID can be used as a unique identifier in this table. What is unique identifier? Unique identifier is an attribute by using which we can access individual row, and these attributes are unique. Okay, all the values in these attributes are unique. For example, if you store data for 100 employees, if you store data for 1000 employees, then all those 1000 employees will have unique employee ID by using which you can identify exact employee. Okay, so here in this condition, this employee ID is nothing but a key. Okay, key for this table. So now I think you got the concept of key. Key is nothing but a unique attribute or unique identifier in a table which is used to access all rows uniquely without any conflict. Okay, so here employee ID is the key of this entire table. Now let's see what are the possible keys in this employee relation. Now we know employee ID is a key. By using employee ID we can uniquely identify the attribute, okay, or we can uniquely identify the rows. Now next possible key in this table is employee ID and name. Okay, see, if you take the combination of employee ID and name, 1 John, 2 Jack, 3 Jerry, if you take this combination, then this combination is again unique because employee ID is unique. Employee ID is different for all the employees. So if you concatenate this employee ID with name, then that will again a key, that will again a attribute or a set which can uniquely identify the row in your table. Okay, now let's see what is the another key. Another key would be employee ID and department. It is again same. See, take the combination of 1 and production, 2 marketing, 3 production. See, now here production department is repeated but employee ID is different. That's why that employee ID and department, this set would be a key which is used as a unique identifier for the entire record. Okay, then another key will be employee ID and salary. See, if you take 1 50,000, 2 40,000, 35,000. It is a unique identifier. If you write query like this, select employee, select ename from employee, where employee ID equals to 1 and salary equals to 50,000, then it will give you exact row, okay, because employee ID is unique. So here again we have another key like employee ID and designation. Again you consider this set, again you consider this combination: employee id 1 designation manager, employee id 2 designation assistant manager. Now see, here we have two employees who are working as a manager, but for one employee, employee id is 1, and for another set, employee id is 6. Means we have two sets, one manager, 6 manager. Okay, so here we can easily identify the person by using this particular combination, that is employee ID and designation. Okay, now all these are the possible keys. Why these are the possible keys? Because using all these keys, using these set, we can uniquely identify the person, we can uniquely identify the tuple. Okay, now here if you look at all these 5 combinations, then in this all 5 combinations, employee ID is the common attribute. So here we can conclude that whenever we combine primary key, whenever we combine attribute, now from this combination we can conclude that whenever we combine key attribute with any of the attribute in a table, then that set will become a key itself. Okay, means here employee ID is our key. Okay, and when you combine that employee ID with any other attribute in your table, then that set will become a key. Okay, now let's see what are another keys. So another key is employee name and department. Now let's see how employee name and department, this set is a combination, this set is a key. See, when you take one combination like employee name is John and department is production. Okay, now we have another employee with the same name, that is John, but that John is working in a marketing department. Okay, see, so John production, this one combination is different from John marketing, this is another combination. So ename and department can be a key. Similarly, we have two employees with name Jerry. Jerry who is working in production, so my first set is Jerry production. Again there is another employee called Jerry who is working in account department, so my another set is Jerry account. Okay, take this set ename and department. So I have two different sets. E-names are same but departments are different. So this ename and department can be a key. Now next is, let's take example of another set ename and salary. Okay, so here when we look at ename and salary, so take one set John and salary is 50,000. Now we have another entry for John with same name John, who is working in marketing department, but his salary is again 50,000. So we have got two sets for ename and salary with the same values. So ename and salary cannot be a key. Okay, because by using ename and salary, if you write query like this, select star from employee, where ename equals to John and salary equals to 50,000, then it will give you two rows, one John who is working in production department and another who is working in marketing department. So this ename and salary cannot be used as a key in this relation. Okay, see, we are talking about all the possible keys for this relation only, for this data only. Okay, see, some of them will not be applicable for any other employee relation. Okay, see, whenever we find out the possible values of keys, we remain stuck to the given data. Okay, we don't think about any other data, we don't think about any other table, we just think about the data that we have at the given moment. Okay, so for this data, ename and salary cannot be a key. Then consider another combination, ename and designation. Now here, if we take any ename and any designation, then that can be used as a unique identifier. For example, employee ID, employee name is Jack, whose designation is assistant manager. Now let's take another Jack example. Employee name is Jack, who is a team leader. Okay, so I have two sets of e-name and designation. One is Jack and assistant manager, and second is Jack and team leader. So these two are different. So if you write query like this, select star from employee where e-name equals to Jack and designation equals to assistant manager, then it will give you a exact row for employee Jack. Okay, so that's why employee name and designation can be a key. Then next key is department and e-name. Now again think, if you take the combination of department and e-name, department is production, e-name is John, department is marketing, e-name is John. We have two different subsets, we have two different combinations. So department and e-name can be a key. Okay, again we have another key, that is department and salary. Again, if you look at all the combinations of departments and salaries, then you will come to know that all these combinations are different. So department and salary can be a key. If you take production, salary 50,000, another combination is production, salary 35,000, another is production, salary 35,000. Okay, so that is what department and salary can be a key for this data. We are talking about this data only. Then another is department and designation. So department and designation cannot be a key. See, whatever values, whatever sets written in a red color, all those sets are not keys, and whatever sets are written in black color, all those are keys. Okay, now see 11 number, department and designation. If you see production, in production department there is one manager. Okay, so that is unique for another production. Okay, but here if you look at any other combination, means in one department we can have more than one employee who are working in same designation. So look at another row, employee ID 3, Jerry, who is from production department, who is a team leader. Again look at another combination, employee ID 8, whose name is Jack, who is again working in production department on same designation, that is team leader. So that's why we have production team leader, two sets with the same values. So department and designation cannot be a key. Similarly, designation and salary is again not a key, because the persons who are working on same designation may have same salaries, so that cannot be a key. See here, look at employee ID 1, who is a manager having salary 50,000. We are talking about designation and salary. So manager is a designation, salary is a 50,000. This is one set. Now again look at another employee, employee ID 6, who is a manager having same salary, that is 50,000. So values are same. So designation and salary cannot be a key. Okay, so now I think you know how to find out the combinations of keys. Whenever we want to find out key for any table, then first we need to find out whether that key or whether that set is able to identify all the rows uniquely. Okay, means when you say any set like department and e-name is one set, so if you take the value of one department and if you take the value of one employee name, then that combination must be different from all other combinations in your table. Okay, so this is how we can find out keys in a table. Now here for this table we have total 9 keys. Okay, in this table we have total 9 keys. You can count here. All the keys written, all the sets written in black colors are the keys in this particular table. And these are also called as super keys. Okay, these are also called as super keys. Now let's see what are the types of keys in relational model. So here in relational model we have four categories of keys: super key, candidate key, primary key and foreign key. Okay, now what is super key? Super key is nothing but a unique identifier in a tuple. Okay, means all sets, all attribute that can be used as a unique identifier are called as super keys. Okay, and this super key can consist of one attribute like employee ID in our relation, or it may be a combination of more than one attribute. As in our relation we have employee ID ename, that is a key which is a combination of two attributes. Employee ID designation is again key which is a combination of two attributes. So all those combinations or all those attributes that are used as a unique identifier in any table are called as super keys. Okay, so here in our table we have these number of super keys: employee ID ename, one combination; employee ID department, another combination; employee ID salary, another combination, and so on. So these all are the keys, super keys in our employee relation. Okay, now let's see what is candidate key. So candidate key is a subset of super key. Now I think you are knowing what is the concept of subset. Okay, see, if two sets are there, A and B, two sets are there, and if we say A is a subset of B, it means that all the elements of A are the elements of B. Okay, suppose A set has element 1, 2 and B set has element 1, 2, 3, then we can say that A is a subset of B, because all the elements of A are also the elements of B. Okay, so that is the concept of subset. So candidate key is what? It is a subset of super key. Means we choose candidate key from the super key. Okay, but not all super keys are candidate key. Okay, and next is what condition? Next condition for candidate key is it's a super key whose proper subset is not a super key. See, candidate key is a subset of super key, but whatever candidate key is there, if we take a subset of that candidate key, then that subset should not be a super key. Okay, now let's take one example for this. See, here at the right side you can see all the super keys or all the candidate keys in a table and their subset. If we take employee ID as a key, then for that employee ID there is a empty subset. So employee ID is a candidate key. Okay, because its subset is not a super key. Let's take another example, employee ID and employee name. Okay, so employee ID and employee name is one combination which is a super key. Now if you take the subset of employee ID and employee name, then we have two subsets, employee ID and employee name. These two are the different subsets. So when you look at this subset, then employee name is not a super key, but employee ID is a super key. So employee ID and employee name cannot be a candidate key. Okay. Again, we have another example, employee ID and department. Here, if we take the subset of this entire set, then we got two subsets, employee ID and department. Two subsets are there. So here, department is not a super key. See, look at your super keys. Department individually is not a super key, but employee ID individually is a super key. That's why employee ID and department is not a candidate key. Because what is the condition for candidate key? It is a super key, but its subset is not a super key. Okay, now let's take another example, ename and department. Now ename and department combinedly is a. Now if you look at the set ename and department, and if you find out the subset of this combination, so subset will be ename is one subset and department is another subset. So here ename this subset is not a super key, and department this subset is again not a super key. So we can say that ename and department combinedly is a candidate key. Okay. Similarly, let's take another example, department and salary. Now this is combinedly is a super key. Now if you take the subset of these two, this combination, then subsets will be department is one subset and salary is another subset. Okay. So here department is not a super key, only department is not a super key, and only salary is again not a super key. So if you combine these together, department and salary, this combination is a candidate key. Okay. So now I think you got the concept of candidate keys. Candidate keys are subset of super key, means we choose candidate key from the super keys. But which type of super keys? If you take subset of that super key, then that subset should not be a super key. So this type of super keys are nothing but the candidate key. Okay. So here in this table, in our table, see, we have these number of candidate keys. Employee ID is a candidate key. Employee name and department is a candidate key. Employee name and designation is a candidate key. Okay, because if you take the subset of these all these keys, then those subsets are not super keys. Okay, so this is how we select super candidate keys from the super key. Okay, now see, total in our entire table we have 9 super keys, but out of those 9 super keys we have only 5 candidate keys. Means these 5 combinations can be used as a unique identifier in a table. Okay. Now next type of key is primary key. See, now we have 5 candidate keys, but here out of these 5 candidate keys, we need to select only one key which can be used as a unique identifier. Okay, so primary key is what? It is a subset of candidate key, and any candidate key can be chosen as a primary key. Means primary key is a subset of candidate key, and from those candidate key we can select any combination, we can select any attribute as a primary key. Okay, and the remaining candidate keys that are not chosen as a primary key, those candidate keys are called as alternate keys or secondary keys. Okay, and here the condition for primary key is every relation has only one primary key. Now see, in our relation we can have number of super keys, we can have number of candidate keys, but we can have only one primary key. Okay, so when we have number of candidate keys, we need to choose single attribute or only one set of attribute which can act as a primary key for the relation. Okay, and now what is another condition for primary key? Whatever attribute we choose as a primary key, that attribute should not contain any null value. Okay, we cannot insert null value in a primary key. Again, another rule for primary key is that whatever attribute we choose as a primary key, that attribute must contain unique value for all the tuples. Okay, see, now here we have so these are the sets, what we can say, conditions for primary key. Okay, now if you look at the candidate key here in this slide, if you look at the candidate keys, we need to select primary key from this candidate keys. So we have total 5 candidate keys. Employee ID is a candidate key. Employee name, department, this combination is a candidate key. Employee name, designation, this is a primary candidate key. Department e-name, candidate key. Department salary, this combination is a candidate key. Okay, now from these 5 candidate keys we need to select one primary key which is satisfying all the conditions for the primary key. Okay, now what are the conditions for primary key? We can have single primary key. Okay, so means out of these 5 attribute we need to select single attribute. Now which attribute to select? We have 5. Then how to select one? Now check the another conditions. Another condition is that primary key should not contain null value. Okay. And primary key, all the values of primary keys must be unique. So here when we think about employee ID, then employee ID is a candidate key. So first condition is satisfied. Second condition is that employee ID should not contain null value. Now see, whenever we enter record for new employee, we always assign employee ID to that new employee. So again second condition is satisfied, that employee ID will never null. Okay, it will never contain a null value. Now third condition for primary key is your primary key must be unique. So whenever you enter a new record for any employee, you will always assign a unique employee ID. Whenever you enter any new employee in your table, then you will always give a new value to the employee ID. So your employee ID will always be a unique value. Okay, so all these conditions are satisfied by employee ID candidate key. So that employee ID can be taken as a primary key in your relation. Okay, now let's consider employee name and department. See, here your employee name cannot be a null, because whenever you enter record for new employee, then you always enter name for that employee. So employee name cannot be a null. But what about department? Suppose any new employee has joined a company, but that employee has not assigned any department. In that case, department value can be a null value. Okay, so ename and department cannot be chosen as a primary key. It is a candidate key, but sometimes this combination may contain what we can say null value. So that combination cannot be a primary key. Similar is the case for ename and designation. Okay, similar is the case for department and ename, and similar is the case for department and salary. See, in department and salary, values, suppose values are not null, but in production department or in any, suppose finance department or in account department, two employees may have same salaries with the same department. Okay, suppose production and 50,000, this is one key, and production and 50,000, this is another. Okay, so values are same, there is no uniqueness, so this key cannot be a primary key. Okay, so this is how we can choose super keys, we can select candidate keys, and we can select primary key. Okay, so keys, now key is what? Key is nothing but a unique identifier which is used to identify each tuple in a relation. We have different types of keys: super key, candidate key, primary key, and foreign key. Okay, super key is all the possible combinations in your table that are used to identify rows uniquely. Candidate key is a subset of super key, and the subset is that type of subset. When we again take a subset of that super key, then it will not be a super key. So that is candidate key. And primary key is what? It is a subset of candidate key. So finally, we use a single primary key to identify a table, to identify a row in a table. Okay, so I think now you got the concept of keys. Keys are used as a unique identifier. In next session, we are going to study about foreign key. Okay, foreign key is used to establish relationship between two tables. So that we are going to study in next session. So this is all about today's session. Thank you.